Welcome all to our North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue podcast around the operational training course. That will be a 13-week course that will take place on the 28th of April. I'm joined today by two watch managers from Training Centre.
Hello, my name's Russ Welburn, so I'm watch manager Russ Welburn. Operational trainer at Training Centre. I have answers to all your questions, should you have them. And on my left is
Watch manager Mark Sykes, work with Russell at Training Centre in Easing Wold.
And we're going Sunday names today, are we?
Russell.
You can call me Russ.
Okay, Russ. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm Warren. I'm the exercise physiologist for the service who will be testing and ensuring that you get the correct physical development throughout the course, and also helping with anyone who ends up with any injuries. So, Russ, if you just want to give us a quick overview of the course.
Yeah, so the whole time recruits course is, as you said, is run over a 13-week period, which is by no means easy. It's a difficult course, and you really need to commit yourself to it. It culminates in a passing out parade, so we'll organise something where you can showcase your newfound skills to your friends and family. We'll put a buffet on, things like that, because we understand how much commitment not only yourselves put into the course, but also families as well. So we do appreciate that. So the course basically is to provide you with all the basic skills and knowledge for you to join an operational fire station, and then you go on to begin your development to becoming what we call a competent firefighter. We'll talk about that a bit later, but your days basically will begin around 7 o'clock, 0700, with breakfast. And we tend to end the day on an evening session, so you'll get an evening meal at 5 o'clock, and then we'll go into some sort of theory session for an hour or so in the evening before you're released. That's not the end of the day, though. I'm going to talk about commitment, because you'll be given kind of domestic responsibilities, such as maintaining equipment, cleaning the areas that we've been using, making sure things are ready to go for the next day, or effectively the next shout, or when those bells go down, everything needs to be squared away, kind of good to go. So that's what it's all about. You won't get any time off during the course, apart from your weekends and the evenings and bank holidays as well. There's a couple of bank holidays coming up within the course. Don't be booking holidays or thinking you can disappear off for a couple of days. We can't really accommodate that, because you will miss effectively, safety critical training. It's not the end of the world, though. We can look at certain circumstances kind of on a case-by-case basis, and we may afford a bit of flexibility if we think that's necessary. So a bit about the course, and I'll go into describing that, and then I'll kind of hand over to Mark to talk about a bit more of it. But like I've said, you undertake practical and theoretical training. All the standards that we set are aligned to what we call National Operational Guidance. So that's set by the National Fire Chiefs Council and all fire services within the UK, of which there are 44, I do believe, train and adhere to these standards. So the elements that are within the course, and this is kind of specific to North Yorkshire, and depending where you go, you might find that other services do different things. But the first part of the course, which I'm kind of developing at the moment, will be your foundation skills. So the basic skills that are going to make you kind of a safe and effective person to ride that fire engine. They're fundamental to kind of your development into other courses. And it's going to include things such as how to put up ladders, how to operate the fire service pumps, safety, and all the health and safety kind of legislation which comes with that. So we kind of, what I'm trying to do is plan it in order of not importance, but giving you skills that you can take on into the next phase of the course. So one of the things that we do is emergency care, or an immediate emergency care, IEC, where we will train you to provide you with the skills to save life and reduce any further harm to casualties. This is all aligned and kind of regulated by Yorkshire Ambulance Service. So it is really good, up-to-date, current training. And it kind of IEC and first aid umbrellas all the other courses, because obviously we're there to look after people mainly, and they tend to be hurt in these situations, so we can give them the care that we need. The next thing we go into is the kind of fun bit for me, and I think Mark will agree with that. And yeah. Mark heads up like the breathing apparatus department, so I'll let you talk about that, mate.
Yeah, so after the initial part, then with the foundation skills, the pumps and ladders, and the IEC, or immediate emergency care, we'll then go into the more structured skill sets for a firefighter. And we'll start with the compartment fire behaviour training, which gives you the knowledge and understanding of how to deal with a fire within a structure or a building, and how to read the conditions that are produced by that fire to help keep you safe and progress to resolve that incident. And then we'll move into the searching and the searching throughout buildings, which is the main BA operator course. So we'll learn about fire in the initial 3 days, and then we'll do a full week of breathing apparatus within a building, which is teaching people how to move in smoke and darkness, to locate a fire, to locate a casualty, and then resolve that incident as accordingly. And then finally, within that BA section of the 2 weeks that'll be allocated to it, there'll be some tactical ventilation, which is using different ventilation tactics to help resolve an incident, and how that ventilation will impact on the fire and the fire development and the conditions within that building for said casualties that might be in there. And that'll be a 2 week period within the course, where people will have that constant BA input. Like Russ said, it is one of the more funner parts of the job, but it is also one of the most important and health and safety critical parts of the course as well, because we're entrusting people to operate within a building with zero visibility and conditions that can ultimately be detrimental to that person or persons within that building. So it's a really fun part of the course, but it's also a really, really safety critical part. So as Russ said, it's quite dependent on your commitment to that, and really taking on board all those factors that come into BA. After that, then we'll also move into other skill sets. So we look as a fire service, we respond to various different incidents. We respond to hazardous material incidents or incidents that involve chemicals, and that will come after the BA week. So it'll involve looking at different chemicals, looking at control measures that we can put in place, exposing you to different scenarios where you might be involved in wearing some of those protection apparatus or equipment that we've got, and then looking at the environmental protection that we could offer as well within those kinds of incidents. And then after that, or throughout the course, we'll also look at road traffic collisions. So again, we do respond to a varied range of different incidents as a fire service. There's probably not anything we wouldn't turn out to, and road traffic collisions are one of the probably the greater number of incidents we get in nowadays anyway. So it'll be looking at different vehicles, how they're constructed, how they react within an incident, and how that impact will impact that vehicle, how we can use different techniques to free people that might be trapped, whether it's physically or medically, and support the ambulance service with that casualty care and the extrication of those casualties in an appropriate time to allow their treatment to take place as quickly as possible. Do you want to talk about some of the other ones, Russ? So
yeah.
After that, we'll.
Yeah, so there's a couple of other kind of main operational things that you'll do. One of them, you either will or won't enjoy this: water rescue. Okay, so you'll be taken off for a couple of days to do your water rescue training, which is what we call level 2. Now, moving on from that, dependent on which station you go to, you may be trained up to an extra level, which will include more capabilities, and we even have power boats and stuff that we can use in the York area. But you will be expected to attend things like flooding and people trapped in floodwater or moving water, and we'll train you to deal with that. The other one, believe it or not, is working at height. You will be expected to work at height as a firefighter, and it comes in hand with confined space. So working at height and confined space gives you the knowledge and understanding to safely resolve incidents that require to work at height with fire service equipment, and also to operate within confined spaces. So you know, on the selection tests, when we do the confined space test, we do it for a reason. You might be underground in an irrespirable atmosphere wearing breathing apparatus, and if you do suffer with claustrophobia, and you know, we need to highlight that quite early in the game. There's other things like animal rescue, wildfire, mass decontamination. We could be here all day talking about that. The other thing that we're going to cover on the course is essential to your day-to-day firefighting, which is what we call prevention and protection. So as well as your operational elements, you'll also have to have input from our prevention and protection teams, which will give you kind of gives you the knowledge and skills required to engage and understand your communities. You know, helping them be safe and feel safe. Some of the elements are going to include an insight into prevention. So how can we prevent incidents from occurring? Various campaigns and initiatives that we've got ongoing. How to engage with youth within the communities. Safeguarding. And then an introduction into protection. So fire safety legislation, guidance documents. Actually, how buildings are built, why are they built like that? So emergency lighting, signage, escape routes, building design and construction. And then also there's a little bit about fire investigation, which you'll have heard about on the news. So how do we investigate fires? You know, it's important to know why they've started, how they started, and effectively how we can prevent that in the future. But there's also, with the fire investigation, that legal element, if we do decide that we're going to take someone to court hearing potentially about something that's happened. That's the course in a nutshell. What I'll do is I'll leave Mark to speak about how we're going to be assessed. Are you happy to do that?
Yeah, that's fine. So throughout the course, obviously there'll be some element of assessment, because we need to make sure that after the course, post 13 weeks, firefighters are safe to ride fire engines and respond to operational incidents. So throughout the course, we will continually assess. So it's not going to be a case of we're going to get to day 20 and then we're going to sit you down and we're going to assess you, because historically that's something that might have been done across services nationally, but we've moved towards a continual development where we are continually assessing and developing you throughout. So it's not going to be all on one day or all on the final week. It's going to be continuous throughout the course to make sure that knowledge and understanding is there, and we can happily say that you are safe to ride an operational fire engine to an operational incident. We are committed to high standards. We do want to turn out the best firefighters for North Yorkshire that we can. Excuse me. However, we do understand that there are different learning styles, different ways for people to understand and take on new information and new knowledge, and we do adapt to those ways so we can support people that may need a different input style or a different method of learning, so we can adapt to help you be the best person that you can be on a fire ground, because that's ultimately why we're here as a training team. You know, we're not here necessarily for ourselves. We're here to make sure that the people that come through the training department get the best experience and are given the best set of tools that they can have to take them through their career. So what we do for the 13 weeks is we get you to a point of safety ultimately. So we look at, are you efficient? Are you effective at what you do? Sorry. And are you safe in what you do? And then over the next 2 years is where the efficiency comes in. And that's where we talk about competency. So you can't leave the training course and be a competent firefighter. You will be a development firefighter, where you will take those skills you've learned through us for 13 weeks and you will then enhance them on station or within the district areas over the next 2 years, which will then be supported by a development folder, which is the firefighter diploma, which is an accredited qualification through the Skills for Justice scheme. All right, and then after 2 years, you will then be reassessed, and then you will be signed off as a competent firefighter. To support that, we will look at bringing you back in at the 9-month point and the 15-month point as well. And that's just to make sure that you are developing sufficiently, and we can look at those skills and make sure that you've maintained those skill sets that we've taught you at training centre. But then ultimately, what you'd be aiming for is that 24-month assessment for that competency as a firefighter. All right.
Perfect. So there's just a few other additional bits. We do team building days. We do consolidation of the skills that you've learned at the end of each week in terms of through physical tests to make sure that you can meet the demands physically of the tasks. We've each, between us, either been on a course, run a course, or taken part in a course. So should we talk about just our own personal experiences with what we've done in terms of how we found the course and how we've just seen people develop over the time and what our previous experience has been with those? So obviously you two the operational stuff, if you want to chat about that.
We obviously see a lot of new recruits come through, whether it be through a whole-time course or through a separate type of on-call course, which is broken down into modules. And I think ultimately, initially for the first couple of weeks, or maybe even just the first few days, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a big change to anything that you've been used to in the past. But just stick with it, and the support of the staff here at Training Centre will get you to the point where you overcome any barriers that you might face. We often find people feel like they can't carry on or they're not going to be able to achieve it, but it's that what we need from the individuals on the course is the commitment, and then they allow us to support them and guide them to get them to that point. So just stick with it.
Yeah, that's something that I noticed off the last course, was the fact that we saw these people develop over the 13-week course and just how much more open they become. But having that process of peer support and mentoring from the operational staff that was there in terms of the small knit groups, I think really aided the development of those individuals.
Yeah, I would say as well that don't come into it fearing anything. The fire service historically was based on a discipline from the naval service, and it's not so much like the army where you'll be shouted at or made to do loads of press ups in a drill yard. That's not the case. What we do require is discipline in terms of when something safety critical is happening, that everybody's switched on. But there'll be, we won't be shouting and effing and jeffing at people, because that's not how we operate. What we do require is that discipline, that when something safety critical is happening, people switch on and they take it seriously. I think ultimately what we want is we want people to come to the course 13 weeks and really have an enjoyable experience, because it's going to be a course that potentially is going to be something you remember for the next 30 years, or for however long your fire service career is. And it needs to be enjoyable, and it will be fun, and it will be something you'll look back on and you'll remember as something that was a really, really enjoyable and good part of my life. But at the same time, it's going to be full on, and we just require you to be committed and put that effort in where we ask for it, really. Is that fair to say, Russ?
Definitely, yeah. It's you're doing the hard part now. Get through that application. You if you do get here, well done to you. You're from a cast of thousands. Okay, so you've done the hard bit. And now you're here. Now it's down to us. And like Mark says, we just want your commitment. You will have times when you're low. Yeah, it's 13 weeks. You're away from your family. The long days are meant to be. It's not designed to be easy, but we're here for you. Okay, when you're struggling, we will put our time into you. Okay, but we just expect that back as well. So maximum effort, 100% of the time. You will enjoy it, and you will come out of it trained to the highest standard. We like to think,
Absolutely.
and yeah, absolutely, one of the best training teams in the country. Okay, no, and you'll go off to your stations, and you will love your career. I can guarantee it. Get through this course, go and join one of the best jobs that you can do. People are probably asking Warren about what to bring with them and what to expect while they're here. Do you want me to just give a quick overview of the training centre physically, and
Yeah, just talk about the building, how it operates, and just talk about what they need to bring.
Good. So picture Travelodge. Okay, your ensuite room, which you're going to get, showers, facilities. You'll be provided with bedding and towels. We've got a fantastic canteen. The facilities run by Sodexo. And all that is really good. You're going to have everything you need for your stay. All we ask is that you bring your PT equipment, so for while you're doing your PT sessions, wash kit and all that kind of stuff. We'll give you a personal water bottle. We'll give you a tablet device for digital access. Just bring stuff for your downtime. You are walking distance from Amazingwald, which is a lovely little market town. Any personal digital devices you need, but whatever you forget in the first week, you will get chance in an evening if you can, within reason, nip home and get it, or you can go home on the weekends. So we've got this Travelodge kind of set up. Attached to it are offices, kit rooms. We've got domestic laundry, washing facilities, and effectively an appliance bay. And then the drill ground, which has all the facilities that we need for supplying the training. But when you get here, you'll get a good tour. You'll get taken around. You'll be given the do's and don'ts and kind of what we expect from you here.
Yeah, really, like Russ said, it's like a Travelodge, but when you're in your downtime and you're upstairs, you've got your TV room, you've got your time to. It's your downtime. You can spend it how you want to spend it, obviously within reason. We don't need people turning up to the course the next day with excessive alcohol consumption the night before. But yeah, it's about making friends. It's trying to get that sort of family feeling between people, and yeah, really working for each other. And it was nice on the last course to see everyone at the end with smiling faces. And I think, if we could speak to any of the old recruits, they'd all say that they thoroughly enjoyed the last course.
It'd be nice if we were smiling as well at the end of the course, not pulling our hair out.
Yeah, if you can make the instructor smile, you're onto a winner there, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think just to wrap it up, I just think, just make sure you come prepared physically and mentally for this course. Like Russ said, it is going to be an arduous 13 weeks, but at the end, it's going to be thoroughly enjoyable. You will enjoy certain elements more than others. Obviously, everyone has the skills where they excel, but it's about making you a rounded individual, and then you'll go off and find some specialities that you really enjoy. But yeah, just prepare well. And, from myself, I look forward to welcoming you to the training centre. And yeah, thank you, Russ and Mark,